Now this video is another one from Zero Hedge. And when I told you my dad came over today, you know, me and my wife were going to sign the documents that we need to sign for the house. To, you know, it's ours now, as I mentioned. And my dad said, oh yeah, I'll come over, watch the kids, you know, while you guys go do that. All right, cool. So they call us right when we're finishing. Hey, we're all getting hungry. You know, I said, hey, we're gonna go to that pizza place I told you about. All right, so let's go. And he's, he asked me, he's like, this guy's like definitely a New Yorker. You know, I'm busy, you know, I'm almost don't have time to talk to people or something. You know, he's like, I can tell this guy's a New Yorker. I say, of course he is. New York style pizza. This guy's got New York. It tasted like it is. He is from New York. He's like, you ever talk to the guy? I said, yeah. I was like, hey, he was telling me the last time I was here, he was telling me how, because I asked him if he delivered, you know, thinking he should deliver, you know, bring it to the house. And he says, he's like, I did when I first started here, opened up here, we did that. You got these people, you know, they're supposed to be coming in, delivery drivers. They don't come. There's no call, no show. They don't show up. I got deliveries coming out. I got to leave the restaurant. I got to deliver them myself because these people aren't coming in. I've had enough. I didn't hire, no more delivery drivers. I don't do that at all. And you know, it's too hard to rely on these people. He tells me this. This is just the other day. So here's an interesting article from Zero Hedge. No call, no show employees. Opioid addiction is devastating American manufacturers. And believe me, we have an opioid epidemic. And here we struggle to get marijuana legalized. It's a class 3 whatever drug. Yeah, all you got to do is become a pharmaceutical agency company and you can make the worst drugs on the face of the earth. Don't cure nothing. Just hide symptoms and make you feel better and out of your mind. Legal, horrible drugs, pharmaceuticals. These ones in particular, opioids. We've spent a lot of time of late discussing the impact of opioids on the American workforce. While it is unclear exactly how much of an impact opioids are having on the steadily declining labor force participation rate, one thing is clear. Nearly half of working age men not in the labor force today take some form of opioids on a daily basis, according to this study. Nearly half, almost half of working age men not in the working force, labor force, are taking some form of these every day. But as Bloomberg points out today, drug abuse among those still gainfully employed is perhaps an even bigger problem for American manufacturing employers because of the safety concerns it presents. Meanwhile, the additional drug testing costs associated with maintaining a safe work environment in an era in which opioid addiction is spiraling out of control tend to mount up as additional employees are required just to manage rigorous testing programs. At Philip Tulkoff's food processing plant in Baltimore, machines grind tough horseradish roots into puree. If you put your arm in the wrong place, the owner says, and you're not paying attention, it's going to pull you in. It's not a good place to be intoxicated. Drug abuse in the workforce is a growing challenge for American business. While economists have paid more attention to the opioid epidemic's role in keeping people out of work, about 2/3 of those who report misusing pain relievers are on the payroll in the factory or office. Such employees can be a drag on productivity, one of the U.S. economy's sore spots. In the worst case, they can endanger themselves and their colleagues. That's why Tulkoff practices zero tolerance. One randomly chosen employee gets tested every month, and we're going to move it to 2. The costs mount up. He has to hire a third-party company to select the worker and pay the clinic to conduct the tests. Money is wasted training workers who subsequently drop out when they fail the screening. We caught someone recently, saw him injecting, said Jay Steinsmetz, chief executive at Barcoding Inc. The Baltimore company creates software and provides equipment that helps businesses manage their inventory. It's a desk environment with none of the grinding machinery that poses a risk to Tolkoff staff. Of course, other manufacturing companies have decided to take the opposite approach on drug testing, as too rigorous a program would inevitably just result in excessive layoffs in an already tight labor market. It's no wonder that not every boss is as rigorous as Tolkoff. I know people who have said, I can't do it. I would lose too many people, he says. In other words, so many people would fail these drug tests. I would lose too many people. Can't survive in the business. So we don't worry about it. Now, back in the mid to late 90s, I was a mechanic, and then I was a service manager at the same place. And they decided they want to start getting into tow trucks, because if we get the tow trucks, we can pick up the cars that have been in accidents, bring them back to our shop, collect $10 a day storage. We can even repair them and do body work, right? We just have this whole thing going for us. And we learned something we had no idea we were going to ever have to learn. Tow truck drivers are massive felons. They're drunks, they're on drugs, and they have a huge criminal record. You are so lucky, anyone listening right now, if you have a business where you know tow truck drivers or you have them as your employees. If you have some that don't do anything, they have a good, clean record. You hang on to them for dear life. And we were going through them, and they're drunk, and we got calls holding, got to pick up cars, crashes, everything. Where are you at? They went into the phone, and they had pagers too then. No pager, no nothing. Let's stop working on cars, drive over to the house. Where's it at? The tow truck's over there. He has the keys. Can't get the keys. Where's the spare? Who knows? Lost them. Got to get in the truck, banging on the door. He's not answering. The truck's sitting there. And these trucks are expensive, as you can imagine. Because they're all they're not leased, but purchased. You got to make payments on them. Not purchased with cash, and these things are like back then in the 90s, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for these trucks, tow trucks. So that check, you got to write that check every month. If that truck is sitting for any length of time, it's killing you. Got to get it on the road, and the guy's not answering his phone. So finally, okay, we get it. In most of the time, we had the spare keys. My boss's brother, Jimmy, who was a good mechanic, you're going to drive the truck today. Can't sit. He's not answering. I need you out there, buddy. All right. What about the customers and their cars that Jimmy was working on? Of course, we're not going to tell the customer. The mechanic had to go drive a tow truck. We need another day. I need your car for another day. We couldn't do that. Just a horrible situation all the way around. And I saw these guys come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. Train them up with this and that. You got experience? Yeah. Put a car on the bed. Doesn't tie it down right. Takes off. The car flies off the bed of the tow truck, 4 or 5 feet off the thing. Crashes down. Up, insurance claim. Another guy driving a big, heavy-duty tow truck that could pick up like semis. Not the real big ones, tow trucks, but it had the front end of a Mack truck. You know what I mean? It was a big tow truck, not a flatbed. And this guy's driving around 6-pack on the floor, just putting them back. Someone either sees him or calls. Something happens. We find out. We got to find out where he's at. Hey, come back to the shop real quick. We need you back. We didn't tell him we knew. We need to put something with a tire in the truck. Whatever. We made up something. So he comes back. Cops are waiting for him. And it was either a 6-pack or 12-pack sitting on the floor. This guy is driving a how many ton truck that could be absolutely deadly for sure if he gets in a freaking wreck. Imagine if he's hooked up to another big truck. You know what I mean? That's the kind of crap we were dealing with. Riff raff galore. And here's old Joe. Work ethic Joe, coming into work every day, not calling out sick, working late if I need to, even though I was on salary, because some of the schmuck, couple of other mechanics who couldn't fix a car if their life depended on them, me and Jimmy are back there fixing it the right way. But that's a whole other story. My boss and his brother, they were good guys, And I still talk to the one guy, Johnny was the main owner, and his brother worked for him, Jimmy. I haven't talked to Jimmy in a long time, but I've talked to Johnny not too long ago. He moved to Alabama. But anyways, I see that. I can understand, but there was no opioid pandemic back then. I can only imagine what the hell's happening now. This is just nuts, man. Look at that. We have a 150-ton crane in our machine shop, and we're moving 300,000 pounds of steel around in that building on a regular basis. So I cannot take the chance to have anyone impaired running that crane or working 40 feet up in the air. And I feel you. So, you know, maybe we need to open the floodgates after all. Mexicans and everybody else, you want to come in? Dreamers and DACA, oh, come on in. Come on in, because we're a bunch of freaking riffraff over here in America hopped up on opioids. Or is it us? Is it us that's the riffraff? Or is it the drug companies, the pharmaceuticals, and the doctors who prescribe the living crap out of it? And they get their little kickbacks from the companies. They can send them on vacation. Just use our product. And next thing you know, someone's hooked. They're hooked. And it's legal. But God help you if you smoke some marijuana. Mary Jane. Unbelievable. Take care.